I'm Andrew Thompson. I'm an Evangelical Christian, Southern Baptist particularly.
And I'm still Alton Campbell, and I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
So let's get into the questions.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good one to have.
Mm-hmm.
Does your faith background have exclusive truth claims?
So it depends on what you mean by that, but yes.
Okay, then explain how you were going to answer it.
So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does have exclusive truth claims. A lot of members of the church will talk about it like by saying like, I know this is the true church, which is perhaps a weird phrasing. Maybe you've heard people say that before and been like, what? The true church? The reason that we say that is that we believe that that Jesus Christ gave his authority to lead his church to Peter, and Peter gave it to the apostles, but when the apostles were all martyred, that authority didn't get passed on, and we believe that authority to lead the church was given to Joseph Smith and then passed on down the line and is still alive and well today. So that's one of the main reasons why members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will say that they know that this is the true church. Mm-hmm. And I honestly believe that is true, that authority exists, and that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the church that has it. However, that is not to say that other churches aren't teaching true things. I really respect and admire a lot of the teachings of many other Christian faiths and many other faiths in general. I think that there is a lot of good to be had from studying other perspectives and other religions, because while the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints may have a form of priesthood authority from God, that doesn't mean that we have a corner on the market of morality. I think that the light of Christ, or the goodness of spirit that every person has in this world, can bring something to the table and can teach us all to be better people. And I don't think that any one religion owns what it means to be good.
So what do you think the implications are of saying like that you are part of the true church? So like a definite article, and that's the exclusive part that we're talking about.
Sure.
What do you think the implications are on like salvific issues?
In terms of who will be saved?
Yeah, something along those. So what role does being a part of the true church have to do with salvation?
So I can give you a long answer or a short answer. Latter-day Saints believe that every person who was ever born, or who will ever be born, with very, very few exceptions, will be given a kingdom of glory in the afterlife. So you could say that in some ways it doesn't matter, that everyone will be essentially redeemed by Christ. However, there are certain kind of details about promises that we can make to God, and certain forms of blessings that we believe that He has given us the opportunity to participate here on earth, that can only be achieved through the proper priesthood authority. So everyone will be saved. It just depends on when and how.
Okay. Well, I mean, so if I'm talking about my faith background,
Please, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take some time here. So, if I were talking about exclusive truth claims in evangelical Christianity, I think I would go to quote Jesus, and I would say in John, fiddlesticks.
That's a great chapter.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite chapters. But yeah, so in John, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Mm-hmm.
No one comes to the Father except through me."
Yeah.
So when we're talking about salvation, that's where I'm going to say the exclusive truth claim lies. Mm-hmm. So I would also say I'm a part of the true church, but I wouldn't be referring to Southern Baptist churches when I say that.
Okay.
I would say the church is the people who have repented of their sins and have been saved by God, by His grace. And that makes up the true church.
That's a really interesting perspective. I really respect that.
So, as far as that goes, as if Jesus is the only way, He is the way, the truth, and the life, I have to look at other faiths or lacking of faith, and say there is a disconnect there. So that's where I'd say that the exclusive truth claim, really the big exclusive truth claim of Christianity is.
Okay. What do you think will happen then for people who have never heard about Jesus or maybe have had a bad experience with Christians and so can't bring themselves to believe in Jesus because they haven't really had a relationship with Him, but just with maybe misguided people?
Yeah, and that's a fair question. It's one that I've asked before, because it does seem bothersome. But Romans 1 particularly brings this up, and actually this is one of the reasons that we send people out to go preach to people who don't believe. So what I believe is that people who are not saved by God, at the end of time, a judgment will come, and God will put His wrath on the people who have not repented and believed in Christ for their salvation. And I realize that sounds dark, but that also spurs me on, and it makes me say, look, I was an enemy of God, and God saved me, and I see that you are where I was, and I want you to have this salvation. Let me tell you about that. So it's one of the reasons that I do. So I'm not from here originally.
Right.
I moved here because there are so few Christians.
Okay.
So I want to share that truth, and because I see hell as a very true reality, an eternal reality. But I also see being in the presence of God as another reality, that those who have repented and believed and been saved by God's grace, they will live in that reality.
Okay, that's cool. So when you say there are few Christians out here, do you mean that in the sense that, well, I guess, better question, are, in your opinion, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, do you consider them Christian or not?
I would say no.
No.
So,
okay.
Let me say, I know this could hurt people's feelings.
Oh, sure, but that's why we're having this conversation.
As I'm saying, I recognize hell as a reality.
Yeah.
I want to speak bluntly about this. And I would say no, because there are some things that we agree on. Like a lot of the moral teachings that we say are going to sound very similar. Or even we're going to have some of the same moral teachings.
Yeah.
But I would say there are a few differences that are key differences. And one of them is who God is. So we believe in a triune God. So that's God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit. Three persons in one essence, one being. So that's one of the big things that initially always comes up in conversations.
Sure.
But also just in how do we come to know God? And we, as an evangelical, I would point to Ephesians 2, where it says, you've been saved by grace through faith. which is a gift of God, not of works, so that no man can boast. And I see the LDS gospel as generally presented as a works-based gospel, and I have to say that there is a disconnect there.
You know what? I actually agree with you. I think that there are some cultural things in the LDS Church community that cause people to focus a lot more on being saved by works and like struggling against life and struggling against even sometimes the will of God, when grace is a really important aspect of Jesus Christ's sacrifice for us. So I agree with you in that respect. I do consider Mormons to be Christians, but I'm really glad that we were able to talk about this. I think
I'd like
that's
to talk
really
about
cool.
it more after too.
Yeah.
So let's, especially after this conversation,
Yeah.
I think it's really good to go into the question: can people from different faiths be genuine friends?
I think absolutely. I don't see any reason why we couldn't be friends. I mean, you and I obviously are, but yeah, I think clearly people from different faiths can be genuine friends. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like a non-issue. Like, of course, if someone believes something different from you, as long as they are trying to be a moral, like, upstanding person, that's good enough. Like, let's be friends, you know. And I don't think that a difference in doctrinal belief or even, you know, the way that somebody feels about God or you know, the Bible or anything like that, I don't think that should stand in the way of you know, relationships and friendships. That's just my opinion, but I don't see why it would really be a problem among friends.
I'd agree 100%. I think actually Christianity has a firm basis for the idea of being friends with people outside of your faith. And I point again to Christ. So in John, again, I believe John 15, Christ says, "Greater man has no love than this, than that he laid down his life for his friends."
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big statement in itself. It's like, wow, what love for friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then in Romans 5, when Paul is talking about our relationship with God before being saved by him, it says that we were enemies of God.
Mm-hmm.
In I think it's Romans 5:10, it says we were enemies of God. So so Christ considered people his friends. He died for someone, saying, "Greater love has no man than this, than that he laid down his life for his friends." So he laid down his life for these people. And then we see that they were actually enemies of him. So even the people vehemently against you you can be a friend to them, in that you can sacrificially serve them. So, and like I said, I think our theology gives us good reason to love well. So, like I just told you, I said, I know this comes across as really blunt, but that is one of the best. If I truly believe what I believe, I need to say those things.
Of course,
like, I think
yeah.
you wouldn't feel loved if you knew that I believed that, and then I wouldn't say it to you, right?
Right. Well, it would feel like kind of evasive, and I think that's part of the problem is that in today's society, like, religion has become a very taboo subject in some ways. Like, well, in many settings, you're just forbidden from talking about religion altogether. You know, many companies just say, nope, can't talk about religion. And I recognize that there are valid reasons for that, but I think that some of that has spilled over into our personal relationships too. You know, where when we know that someone is of a different faith, sometimes we're a little uncomfortable talking to them about, what it is they believe and what it is we believe, and kind of comparing and contrasting our ideas. But if we look back at, how philosophy was done, and how we come to know something, or how we come to discover ourselves, or how we come to discover our relationship with God and with Jesus Christ, I think that it's really essential to kind of see other people's views and see our own views, and realize where our own views might be flawed.
Yeah, I would 100% agree.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions about some of the dialogue and conversations that we're having, be sure to comment below. We love to respond to our viewers, to our subscribers. And if you really like what we're doing, be sure to share it on social media and let other folks know about what's going on with Intersect USA. Until then, we'll see you next time.